Hello and welcome to the Radical Podcast, inspired by the essence of the word radical, proceeding from the root. We explore the roots of metaphysical wisdom.
This season is all about divination, tarot, and the power held within our intuition. This is The Radical with Nicole and Christina, the two metaphysical girls in the material world.
Hello, welcome to the Radical Podcast. This is Christina.
And I'm Nicole.
Today we are talking about the Court of Cups tarot cards.
This court irked me because the descriptors for, let's say, the Page of Cups could also be associated with the Queen of Cups. There was a lot of crossover and a lot of fluidity. We are talking about water, but it did feel like there wasn't clean distinctions between the attributes of the court, and the descriptors could belong to multiple members of the court. I want them to be distinct individuals, and that's just not how this court operates.
This court is flowy. I've got messages from the universe. I am using one of the most beautiful decks, the Witch, which the author has used Witch as the initials. So it's woman in total control of herself, WITCH. Such a great deck, and I can't wait to share those cards. But let's just dive right in. Cups is the suit that we are in. Cups are hearts in our modern playing cards. They can be chalices and goblets and shells and bowls and various other types of vessels or items associated with water or holding water. And the suit of cups in tarot represents emotions, or it's in the realm of emotions, intuition, relationships, the subconscious. The court cards in tarot, there's 4 court cards for each suit, 16 court cards in total. And court cards can represent personalities, archetypes. They can be specific people, but also timing. They also have their own themes, their own symbols, and their own meanings and reversals. The card names, starting with the page, can be princess, Amazon, daughter, if it's looked at in a family grouping, maiden, and apprentice, knights, a little bit older, a little bit more mature, a prince, a jack or a knave, sun, priestess, mother, and totem. For the queen, it has, again, another step up in the maturity level, can be a mother or a matriarch, a foremother, a witch, adding in an element of wisdom, and a lodge for that element of mothering. And the king can be the father, a crone, again, with levels of maturity, a sage, levels of wisdom, and also an exemplar. These cards are the numbers 11, 12, 13, and 14 as well. The Page of Cups, the energy of this card is the season of autumn. The element is earth in the suit of water. The pages are earth, and water is the suit of cups. The polarity of this card is yin. This is a yes card. In the Tree of Life, this card can be associated with the 10th sphere of Malkuth, which is the physical realm, the kingdom, and is ruled by Earth. The chakra, many different interpretations and connections to chakras here. I'm just giving you one of the primary ones, which can be the root chakra. Again, that deep connection to Earth. The crystal, I thought, possibly when you look at the cards themselves and you think about the energy of this card, that do you have any stones or rocks that are like shaped like a fish or shaped like a shell or shaped of like a water animal or something, that to me feels almost like a lighthearted toy playfulness of a crystal or a representation of this card. Because in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, the page is looking at the cup and there's a fish looking back at them. And I think that is just such a sweet, playful way to express the energy of this card. So if you have anything that looks like a fish or is the color of a fish or that reminds you of a fish, that might be that more playful connection to this card. And also aquamarine, which is that pale, dreamy blue color. The symbols in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, which is the deck that Nicole and I use as kind of like our baseline for this particular season. I say that because as we move into the next season, what if we're like all about a different baseline deck? Because I have another deck that I want to show you. I bought another deck when I was traveling. So anyway, the fish generally as a symbol, because it's in the water and the water is our subconscious, can be deeply connected to our intuition and our subconscious and our internal and private thoughts. You can't look at the Rider-Waite-Smith deck and not look at the clothing on this figure. Very, to me, feels very grand and done in a way that you are drawn to look at what this character is wearing, which adds to its youthfulness and also, again, its playfulness. The water lilies on the cloak, lilies, it can be seen as a water lily or a lotus or like a flower growing out of the water. So it has that same kind of symbolism with it, with his pure of heart, innocence. And even the shape of the scarf and the hat look like a bowl with water falling out of it. There's just so much playful water energy in this card, youthful water energy in this card. And the historical, or one of the historical themes of this card was that the element of the page being a messenger and the playfulness and the innocence of this was that it would bring love news or news about love. The page is bringing you a message in that realm. For the Knight of Cups, the zodiac sign is Pisces. The house is the 12th house, the house of sacrifice. Mantra could be I believe. Some of the themes of the 12th house are withdrawal, seclusion, meditation, and then mostly in probably as it relates to this card, dreams and the unconscious. This is knights are fire. So this is fire in the suit of water. The modality of this card is mutable. All the knights are mutable energy and mutable water. Polarity is yang. This is still a yes card. The tree of life is associated, or this card is associated with the 6th sphere of Tiparath for beauty and harmony and glory, ruled by the sun. The chakra, again, I'm just going with one of the primaries, would be the solar plexus chakra. The crystal, you think about fire and water, and I was thinking about volcanic rocks that you may have found near the ocean or something that has like a volcanic aspect to the crystal. And then I did a quick search. And have you ever heard of Larimar, Nicole?
I have a piece of Larimar.
Okay. One of my blue stones might be Larimar. I'd like to compare it to yours one day to see if it's close to it. But Larimar is a rare volcanic blue gemstone found exclusively in the Dominican Republic. But it is water and fire. And I thought that if that was not made for this card, I don't know what is, but it could also be just another type of volcanic rock or another maybe darker blue stone that has a little more fire, a little more energy to it. And the symbols on this card, I've seen this card so many times and I didn't see the wings until I read about it in my book. And there's wings not only on the knight's helmet, but also on their boots. That is very symbolic of messages and being a messenger. And then the cup held aloft in the knight's hand, it is a messenger of something associated with the suit of cups. Here, the horse is a little more steady. They're not having some of that energy of the other knights. But if you see the river in the background, the moving river of water, that is a symbol of emotional movement. Anytime you see flowing river water. The knight has bright red fish on their robes, which is that fire, that overlay of that fire element. And historically, this is the proposal card, like the theme of a proposal coming your way. Not like a wedding proposal could be, but a proposal of some sort having to do with the suit of cups. Queen of Cups. We are in Queen of Cups time right now as we record this. This is zodiac sign Cancer season. House is the 4th house, house of family. Mantra is I feel. The house of roots, ancestry, and home. This is water in the suit of water. The queens are water and the cups are water. The queen also of cups is cardinal water. So the initiator, the beginner, the birth of your water related and cup related ideas and goals and emotions. The polarity is yin. This is a yes card, but I also think whenever I get a card heavy in water, I also leave space for maybe and even no. The tree of life is the 3rd sphere of Binah, the sphere of understanding and the feminine principle ruled by Saturn. The chakra is the wateriest chakra we have, the sacral chakra, that has a crescent moon in its yantra. And the energies of this queen and her creativity and her ability to birth and initiate is held right there in all of our sacral chakras. Crystals. You see how she has those little pebbles? Well, excuse me. In the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, that card, the queen is sitting and at the feet of the queen are those pebbles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what if you had something that looked like those pebbles? Sea glass, sea pebbles, sea stones, anything in those colors. That would be a very strong tie to this card. But then also shells, sea glass, pebbles, anything that actually physically came from water. And it doesn't even have to be the ocean, just a body of water. The symbols on this card, I want to talk about the chalice on the Queen's card in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And this is a closed, covered chalice. It can symbolize the womb, the subconscious, and inner thoughts. This is the theme of felt emotions, but not expressed emotions. So these are private inner thoughts. Wikipedia says, this sealed cup represents sacred inner knowledge that is protected and not shared indiscriminately, as well as the Queen's ability to contain and process deep emotions without being overwhelmed by them. So that specific chalice has a lot of meaning and a lot of symbolism in relationship to the other, almost every other cup that we see in the whole suit. I don't think there's another chalice that looks different than hers, than the Queen's. There's water babies, which are the mer babies. They're on the throne. There's 2 at the top and 1 at the bottom. Mer babies. Yeah. Water nymphs, water babies. That's an inner child. There's an element of lightness and playfulness to this too. I was like thinking about all the heavy thoughts of that, the covered chalice and all the importance of our deep thoughts. And then it's like, but hey, there's still water babies. There's still a lightness and a happiness and a joyfulness to the Queen of Cups. And then there's a lot of lovely shells on the Queen of Cups card. She has a shell brooch at her neck. There's shell motifs in her throne. I was thinking of another one of the themes of this card is the fish scales, the braiding of her hair, the pattern of her crown and the patterning of her robes resemble fish scales, like that overlapping. There's a lot of that water element there. And this is a close tie to an aspect of the Empress. And historically would be an intuitive person, an intuitive energy. Historically, that would be the theme of this card. Okay, the King of Cups, zodiac sign, Scorpio, 8th house, house of transformation, could be the theme, mantra of I desire. The 8th house, the house of regeneration, spirituality, mysteries, sexuality, and other people's values and other people's money. It's one of my one of my favorites. This is all kings are air. This is air in the suit of water. The modality is fixed water. Polarity is yang. This is a yes card. The tree of life is the second sphere of chakma, the wisdom, and also the masculine principle ruled by Neptune. Throat chakra, one of the primary for kings, and the King of Cups because of that air element, and also because the level of maturity and gathering of wisdom and the expression and communication element of kings will lend into being in that throat chakra energy. Again, the king here has a necklace that's shaped like a fish. So if you've got anything that's shaped like a fish, like a crystal or a stone, plastic toy, I mean, any of those things could work if you're working with the energy of the King of Cups. Symbols. So I mentioned the fish necklace and the fish representing inspiration, new ideas, and messages. Did you notice the jellyfish on the crown of the king? That is linked, can be linked to Scorpio and Scorpio's sting.
Oh.
Yes.
Well.
But also, you know how jellyfish kind of float with the currents? There's also an element of go with the flow. So between those two, I feel more the sting of Scorpio as opposed to, I don't get a lot of go with the flow with the King of Cups, but I do have an element of like jellyfish. So jellyfish on the crown. The king is holding a scepter for power and authority. And then if you notice on the card, there is a fish-like creature leaping out of the water on the bottom left side of the card. And then there's a boat on the lower right-hand side of the card. And that is nature and man-made. So that is the balance of material and spiritual worlds that the King of Cups helps you balance and can help you bring together. Because the theme of this card as a charismatic person, a charismatic energy that transmutes feelings into ideas, helps you express what's inside your heart. It's a bridge and a link between your internal world and the external world. That is King of Cups energy.
For these 4 court cards in particular, as Christina said, the Page of Cups is the autumn season. You can see it one of 2 ways. The Christina method, earth in the suit of water, or the Nicole method, air in the suit of water. Mm-hmm. Now for the Knight, we concur fire in the suit of water and the zodiac sign of Pisces. Now the Knight of Cups oversees 3 minor Arcana cards. And if you remember, the court cards oversee 20 degrees from one decan through 20 degrees of the next decan. So for the Knight, he oversees the 4 of Swords, the 5 of Cups, and the 6 of Cups. The 4 of Swords is the 3rd Libra decan, and then the 5 and the 6 of Cups are the first 2 Scorpio decans. We can think about with the 4 of Swords sort of this like sanctuary in which in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, a literal knight finds himself. Christina's shaking her head because this is one of her trash can cards. Maybe we can pull in like the idealism of the knight, this sort of idealistic, resting, peaceful state and the sanctuary that we find in the Four of Swords. For the Five of Cups, this is disillusionment, grief, and sadness. And if we think about the Knight of Cups in reverse, that can bring the energy or the emotion of disappointment. And the Six of Cups, sweetness, the children playing, the little boy giving the little girl a flower. And the Knight of Cups can also represent displays of affection.
Yeah. That element of that proposal. Or that, yeah.
The Queen of Cups, the zodiac sign of Cancer, water in the suit of water. The Queen of Cups oversees the Ten of Swords, the Two of Cups, and the Three of Cups. So with the Ten of Swords, we remember in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, the figure stabbed with 10 swords. But because it's the air element, we can think of the mental fragmentation. In her reversed position, the Queen of Cups can represent a lack of boundaries. And that could show up in our lives as like taking on too many things, not saying no, not giving ourselves spaciousness. In the Two of Cups, a harmonious union, whether it's romantic, business, friendship, and the deep, compassionate love of the Queen of Cups. And the Three of Cups represents like our soul family, our tribe of like-minded people, and the Queen of Cups brings heart-led energy into those types of relationships. And then lastly, the King of Cups, zodiac sign, Scorpio. The Christina method is air in the suit of water. The Nicole method sees this as earth in water. And the King of Cups oversees the Seven of Swords, the Eight of Cups, and the Nine of Cups. So we can think about the deception and manipulation that's possible with the Seven of Swords. And in reverse, the King of Cups can bring insincerity and toxic energy. With the Eight of Cups, we could think of this as like, we kind of talked about it last episode too. When there's too much stability with water, there's stasis. And in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, the figure's walking away from a set of 8 cups. So walking away from maybe something that's become stagnant. The ability to do that, in my opinion, requires resilience. And that is something the King of Cups definitely embodies, is like emotional resilience.
Yes.
In good times, bad times, dynamic times, static times.
There's like this element too of emotional intelligence that we can put up with something being wrong or something being stagnant for a long time, but it's really hard to seek out something more than that and knowing when that time is right. Because you're like, look at all these cups you already have. You're like, but it's not right. Like that's hard to do. That's hard to do. And you need an emotional intelligence to be able to process that and to move away from that or move towards something else.
Yes. And with the Nine of Cups, we can think about alignment, abundance, and the idea of transcendence with the King of Cups.
Yeah.
So for card comparisons, what's interesting in Mystic Mondays, the Princess of Cups and the Knight of Cups are both sort of encircled in this personal bubble of space. To me, it's a suggestion that they are navigating an internal emotional process. And then later on in the deck, when we get to the Queen and the King, it's like they are able to hold space for other people. And I noticed as I was doing my research that the Queen of Cups, one of her attributes is being a good listener, which is very yin. She's receiving information. And the kings tend to be advice givers. So they're giving something, it's yang energy. But back to the Princess of Cups. So she's kneeling in her personal space bubble. And the card almost looks like an hourglass. The princess's kind of orange and pink hair flows downward, making up the bottom half of the hourglass. And then the top of the hourglass is like this purple sky with a waning crescent moon. There's a tiny circle above her head. I think this symbolizes her connection to lunar energies. She doesn't have eyes. By not having like two physical eyes, she's reliant on her intuition and her inner knowing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a singing bowl that's floating in between her hands, and the color scheme of this card reflects affection, love, connection, and yin energy with the color pink, warmth and creativity with the color orange, and psychic abilities, divination, and intuition with the purple. In the Light Seers deck, talk about layers of meaning. So this figure sitting near the coast, there's calm blue water in the background. He's gazing upwards towards his feet. It's like his legs kind of carry over from the bottom of the card to the top.
So cool.
And next to his feet, at the top of the card, we see this little pig with wings. From her guidebook, she says, be open to wildly wonderful miracles. This is the When Pigs Fly card. And holding it in your hands is a sign that unforeseen yet fortuitous events are coming your way. Allow your emotions to follow the breadcrumbs of joy.
For the Page of Cups in the Spirit Song Tarot, it is the Page of Shells. The author chose a frog as the spirit animal for the energy of this card with the keywords of intuition and inspiration. A group of frogs is called an army.
That's funny.
And when they're singing, they're called a chorus. A frog as a spirit animal symbolizes transformation, cleansing, emotional renewal. For spirit and as a totem animal, again, transitioning, moving into new situations, and releasing emotional baggage and negative energy. It's heavily connected to water, intuition, and finding your own power through emotional healing. There's like a note about frogs having a energy of detoxifying to them. I don't know if that's why some frogs are very poisonous. And so there's this element of just like they have the ability to release negative energy or to work with detoxifying or like that element of like cleansing. But I get it. For the Wild Unknown Tarot, it is the Daughter of Cups. The Wild Unknown Tarot uses a family pattern for the Court of Cups, or all their court cards. It's the Daughter of Cups. The keywords creative and emotional. The author has also chosen swans as the animals for the Court of Cups in their deck. This is a very young swan, the youngest swan out of the four, in the water with their shadow being reflected into the water as a rainbow, which is just lovely. A very beautiful, peaceful card. In the Secrets of the Witch's Garden Tarot, this is the Page of Cups. The card name is Dream Weaver. And here we have a water spirit. And it's full of joy and movement and splashing water. They have the cup with the fish jumping out of the cup as an echo to the Rider-Waite-Smith deck with the fish looking at the page out of the cup. And there's a large frog nearby. So there's that frog energy again. Like the frog energy of the spirit song. And it's a yellow, are they daffodils? Yellow flowers behind in the lily pads. So it is just a playful, youthful, energetic card. And then finally for the Sacred She Tarot, this is card 11 of water. And the name of the card is Imagination. And this is a dreamy scene of a figure in a like a flowing, flowery cloak. And the sun is so bright and so intense. And the character may be looking at sort of like it's like a ghost ship, because it's made of like clouds, or it's made of their imagination, or it's made of like just ideas, because it's just all white and no, it's what's the word I'm looking for?
Ethereal.
Whew, there we go. Ethereal ship in the distance. In my notes, it looks like it's made of clouds, but I think it's to represent this person's daydream or this person's dreaming. The author writes in their guidebook, imagination is an expression of innocence that arises from our inner shield. It keeps us young and vital no matter our age. It's a lovely card.
So for the Knight of Cups in the Mystic Mondays deck, our knight is standing just like the princess was within his personal bubble of space. He's holding a stemmed glass in one hand and the other hand is on his hip. There's a waxing crescent moon in the sky above, and it seems as though this knight is about to offer you this cup.
He's about to make a proposal.
Now, our next Knight of Cups from the Light Seers, he really seems like he's about to make a romantic proposal. This is a very romantic setting. He's dressed pretty casually, like there's kind of a casualness to how both of these knights are dressed. This knight is in jeans, a black t-shirt, like some Converse sneakers. And the setting is a beach. There's a picnic blanket. There's a picnic basket, a love letter, a bowl. He's holding roses. So definitely feeling like there's about to be some kind of romantic gesture or proposal. In the background, there's a horse, and the horse is standing sort of in a position similar to the horse on the Rider-Waite-Smith card. And you'll notice in the Light Seers deck, the little wings on the knight's shoes, just like the knight in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. From the guidebook, Chris Ann says, get ready to take inspiration and run with it, to make art, music, and love, and a veritable masterpiece of life.
The Knight of Cups in the Spirit Song Tarot is the Knight of Shells. It's a flamingo for charm and passion. A group of flamingos is called a flamboyance. The flamingo spirit animal symbolizes balance, emotional intelligence, community, and vibrant self-expression. As a guide, it can help you navigate life with grace, adapting to change while maintaining inner poise. They do have a monogamous nature to them where they represent loyalty and romance, like strong romance. Your Mystic Mondays used flamingos in some of their imagery with that. Like, I think it was the lover card with the two flamingos. And I was like, that was such a lovely image. But you could see how flamingos can be used in that way. And for the Wild Unknown Tarot, this is the Son of Cups. Keywords artistic and introspective. This is still a young swan, but older than the daughter. And an older swan in profile. And there's a cup. Well, it's like a goblet. It's a very nice, it's not a cup, it's a goblet with a radiating light coming out of the goblet in front of the swan. In the Secrets of the Witch's Garden, the Knight of Cups, the keyword or the title of this card is poet. And here we have a warrior poet / artist. There's a scene of the knight with their steed, a lot of aspects of a blend between the horse and the water element with amphibian features on the horse, and the knight is beginning to discard their armor, is gazing at their water goblet, the art project with the paints and the shells and the flowers are all on the ground at the feet of the warrior artist / poet. And again, yellow flowers, the beautiful green water, and the leaves coming down of the ancient willow tree, and that element of wisdom. So it's that connection of the wisdom of the water and the wisdom of the earth. Beautiful card. And then look at this one, Nicole in the Sacred She. It's card 12 of Waters, called Voyager. I love this card so much. A lone figure is paddling in a sea of stars above and below, so much so that you can't see where the water ends and the sky begins, or the sky begins and the water ends, and the figure is alone in their canoe. That's another reason why I like it. Just paddling into that sea of stars. Oh, I love it. I love this card so much. And it's the Voyager on the journey, on your journey into your unknown or your known.
It's like if Spirit Quest had a picture to go with it. Like
Yeah.
that's the picture.
I love that card. And the colors. I mean, purple and blue and oh, I just love it.
So in the Mystic Mondays deck for the Queen of Cups, we have a mermaid sitting on a crystal-like rock. We've seen these kind of crystal-like rocks throughout the deck. They can look icebergy, they can look crystal-like. The mermaid's dark hair is flowing around her, kind of like a night sky with stars. She's also holding a stemmed glass. It kind of looks like a wine glass, but it could be a chalice or a goblet. The way she's holding her chalice, it's as if she's about to toast another person. The energy of this figure is confident and poised. The cup that she's toasting, it's sort of like breaking the boundary or the barrier that her hair has created. Her hair almost creates this like protective bubble around her. So there's this idea of boundaries or her aura or her energy, this idea of like, this is where I end and other people begin. And I think that's really important to acknowledge in this very fluid and flowy element of water. And it's very important for anyone who's very empathetic and intuitive to have those boundaries and know what energy belongs to us and what belongs to other people. And the color black, which is kind of like her hair, that is representative of the subconscious, of protection and power. And then the dark blue on the card, perception, leadership, and sovereignty. And in the Lightseers deck, we have a queen sitting in a shallow pool of water. There's a bowl floating on the water in front of her, and she's seated in a meditative posture. Her eyes are closed, her palms are open and facing forward, and there's water triangulating around her, sort of up from the water she's sitting in and triangulating up towards the crown. And she has a watery crown above her head where the water triangulates and meets at that point. So I get a sense of control from this card, control and sovereignty and power. She's very in tune, connected, and centered. From the guidebook, Chrysanne says, the queen asks you how well your emotions have been serving you lately and reminds you that you have the ability to connect on a much deeper level. And I think this is the idea of we can connect to our subconscious and we can have power over our emotions to an extent. We do have self-sovereignty over our emotional experiences. It's a pretty card.
Yeah. The Spirit Song Tarot has the Queen of Shells, spirit animal of a seal. And when we did a little bit of research on celestial bodies, we read about Sedna, and I always will think of Sedna whenever I read about seals. And then Sedna just came to my mind so hard as I was thinking about the Queen of Cups. And then I was like, I feel that energy. But seals, especially to me, are so much of that energy because of the mythology and the story of Sedna. And then the keywords here are peace and compassion. A group of seals is called a pod or a colony or a herd. And the seal as a spirit animal symbolizes imagination, intuition, playfulness, deep emotional connection, and represents a bridge between the conscious and the unconscious mind. Sedna, all Queen of Cups. What a lovely spirit animal to think of if you are, sometimes we struggle with energies. It might be helpful to think of seal energy or to kind of reach out to research more about seals as a spirit animal to help you with this Queen of Cups energy. Because to me, that is such a nice fit. And then the seals as a totem animal are adaptable, creative, resilient. They're capable of navigating complex emotions and relationships. They're social creatures. For the Wild Unknown Tarot, it's the Mother of Cups. Keywords is insightful and psychic. And here we have a full-grown swan standing on their back legs in a way that their wings are outstretched over their chalice or their goblet. In The Secrets of the Witch's Garden, the Queen of Cups, the card is named Empath. And here we have a glowing, almost translucent queen with animals and nature all around them. The queen's hair is cascading into the waterfall so that the water and the queen are one. They're sitting on the rock, feet in the water. There's a squirrel, there's a snake, there's lush vegetation, and it's just such a beautiful, peaceful, yet knowing and powerful and sovereign queen, right? That this queen is owning that space and is in that space. And this queen is holding their cup, how the queen in Mystic Mondays is holding their cup too, out and aloft and towards maybe you, maybe somebody else. That is another element of the queen, is the way that they're offering the chalice or the goblet. And for the Sacred She Tarot, 13 of water. This card is called Intuition. And this is just an incredibly beautiful, flowy, watery, gorgeous card. And the figure is partially visible in a scene of watery, flowy, organic shapes and symbols, deep blues, pale aqua, turquoise. Again, you know who I think of when I see this? Sedna. Yeah. Part of her story was how she was submerged and became entwined and intermeshed with all the sea creatures. There's so the symbols, the nautilus shell, the crayfish, the plant life, everything that is around this Queen of Cups. But one of her eyes is looking right at you. There is a deep connection as far as the reaching out of this queen to you, the viewer of this card, which I like, because the other queens offer the goblet and this queen is looking at you. It's got one eye right on you as a knowing glance.
The King of Cups in Mystic Mondays, we have a merman. He's approaching us, the viewer, with a large chalice, some kind of large, I don't want to say jug. It's not really like a jug, but he's like the water bearer. And it's giving provider energy. Like he's bringing water for more than just himself. He's thinking of others. This card has the dark and the light blues that we saw in the Knight of Cups and the Queen of Cups in this deck. But there's also a good amount of green. And so if it resonates with you to think of the kings as earth, you could think about earth. In the Light Seers deck, we have a king who's kind of seated on what seems like the surface of the water. The queen in the Light Seers deck was gazing upwards. The king in this deck is gazing downwards, maybe suggesting a more grounded earthly connection. And again, he's kind of floating on top of the water, whereas the queen was submerged. The water behind him is calm. We have a sailboat. He has a bowl in front of him. There's a fish in the water. There's a starfish kind of next to him. And he has a watery crown above his head. From the guidebook, she says he softens his gaze and reaches for his singing bowl. When something unexpected comes into the King of Cups awareness, something that may shake another person's composure and send them into a state of stress or anger, he regulates his emotional state with his mature, practiced, and meditative energy.
The King of Cups in the Spirit Song Tarot is the King of Shells. The author has chosen the seahorse. Keywords harmony and integrity. A group of seahorses are called a shoal or a herd. The seahorse totem symbolizes patience, gentle strength, and adaptability. As a spirit guide, it can help you to navigate emotional currents with grace. As a power animal, it encourages finding balance, maintaining confidence, and holding on through turbulent times. Because you know how the seahorse attaches to the seagrass so that it can stay in place as the waters flow around it. Well, that's kind of a nice symbol. Another aspect of looking at the King of Cups in that way, just like the jellyfish or the surfer, that the water is flowing, but the King of Cups represents some sort of stability and harnessing and using the powers of the water. Because they anchor themselves, that's the word, anchor themselves in the seagrass. For the Wild Unknown Tarot, it's the Father of Cups. Keywords are diplomatic and open-minded. And here we have a full-grown black swan. Looks very regal. Black swan are not globally rare. They are mostly found in Australia, where they're common. Specifically, the black swan spirit animal symbolizes profound transformation and beauty of the unknown, power of the unexpected, and rare events. In the Secrets of the Witch's Garden, the King of Cups here is called the Artist. The throne of the King of Cups is organic. It's like coral and waves. There's a sea turtle and a large fish at the king's feet, lush blooming flowers behind the throne. There's like a pearl levitating above the left hand of the King of Cups here, and the king is holding the cup in their right hand, aloft, like at the level of their head. A very sovereign feeling here, very earthy, kind of carrying on the themes of your king of cups. That's very earthy to me. There's an element of water, but there's a lot of earth and green in this card. For the Sacred She, 14 of water, called Dreamweaver. And here is a older person by the color of their hair, holding on to a child, a black cat, a lamb, and a red parrot. The main figure, the Dreamweaver or the Father of Cups or the senior person in the card, is looking into their cup, and there's a frog looking back at them. I love that imagery. And there's an element of a window behind these gathering of souls, and there's like a beach scene behind them of a wave crashing, and it is very calm and peaceful and loving, and it's like the embrace and the peacefulness of all the different animals. You have a land animal, a bird animal, an animal of intuition, an animal of peace and innocence, an animal of intelligence and communication, a young child and an older person, and that frog just looking at you out of the cup, and that element of playfulness.
I like that card. It's really nice.
Yes, it's a very warm, I feel very loving and protected for any person. And here it's a male character by the hair and the beard, I would say, or male energy character, to have all of those different types of animals and child to be so comfortable and so welcome in their presence, to be so at peace. That is the feeling that the illustrator got for me, is that this person is somebody who can be peaceful, warm, and protecting to all these types of creatures, and all these creatures are drawn to them. Yeah, Dreamweaver, love it.
So we have a storyline, a little narrative that may help us remember the cards. So for the Page of Cups, we could think about how, with childlike wonder and openness, an inspired page dreams a dream. The passionate and romantic knight expresses the dream in the form of art, relationships included. The Queen of Cups offers tender and nurturing support, which flows from her heart and her intuition. And the Protective King adds the yang energy of steadiness and protection. in his watery realm. All right, a collection of words. The Page of Cups is a dreamer, an idealist. It can represent creative inspiration, imagination, intuitive messages, being perceptive, having an open heart, vulnerability, playfulness, lightheartedness, enthusiasm, the energies of gentleness, sweetness. There's a sense of peace with the page as well. It could represent falling in love or being attracted to a person, place, or endeavor. And it could also represent synchronicity, serendipity, or unexpected opportunities. The Knight of Cups, a romantic, an adorer, a charmer. This card could represent an invitation, an offer, or a proposal. Someone who is passionate, seductive, affectionate. It could represent the notion of wearing your heart on your sleeve or being in love with the idea of love. And it's also the card of being artistic and refined. The Queen of Cups is someone leading with the heart, who is compassionate, empathetic, listening, caring, understanding, nurturing, warm, kind, tender, graceful. Mystic Mondays says her intuition is comparable to the High Priestess. And we talk about the High Priestess next week. The Queen of Cups is also associated with psychic abilities, being sensitive, in tune, receptive, and having a deep spiritual connection. She's associated with creative and imaginative flow states and divination, mysticism, and the occult. From my Light Seers Field Notes by Chris Ann, she says, for the King of Cups, my heart holds deep wisdom and love, and I use it to connect and lead. The King of Cups is fluent in emotional intelligence. The King is a healing presence, emotionally regulated and resilient in rough waters, composed, steady with an inner calm, transcendent, wise, protective, dependable, present, and patient, offers good counsel, gives good advice. In reverse, the Page of Cups could be about emotional instability or somehow suppressing emotions, keeping them under the surface, subconscious type stuff. It could be immaturity, insecurity, or escapism. Escapism through like excessive daydreaming, or this could even lean into addictive behaviors.
In the Secrets of the Witch's Garden, they offer a question to help you write this card if you get it as a reversal. And the question you can ask is, how can I be more open?
In reverse, the Knight of Cups can be emotionally reactive, volatile. It could convey disappointment or passion that is quickly extinguished. This is the combination of the water and fire element. Water extinguishes fire. It could be about a lack of realism, whether that's through half-truths, through vagueness, not necessarily like deceptive or lying, just kind of that murkiness. It could be somebody who is a sycophant, sucking up to somebody else, or obsequious.
I don't even know what that means.
It is excessively eager to please.
For the Knight of Cups, the question to write the reversal is, what emotional gifts can I offer?
In reverse, the Queen of Cups could be a call for better boundaries and protection. And usually this is like protecting ourselves, protecting our energy. It could convey possibly being taken advantage of, being gullible, or having dependency, whether that's like on other people or other things, sort of a breakdown of our sovereignty in that way.
And the question here to write this reversal, how can I listen better?
In reverse, the King of Cups could be about toxic emotional behavior. This could be things like manipulation, victimhood, and kind of active deception. It could be behavior that is also dishonest, insincere, selfish, or being unreliable.
And the question to write the reversal for the King of Cups: what can I bring to the surface? Are we ready for the message from the universe?
Yes.
Messages from the universe. I have 2 cards. 2. So pick 1 or 2, A or B. The first card is card 39, the Companion. Your body, like a cauldron, holds the energy of what you put into it. Are you putting shame, diminishment, or rejection into it? Or acceptance, appreciation, and adoration? Science would have you believe your body is an experiment. Religion would have you believe your body is a sin. A witch would have you believe your body is a marvel, a cauldron of celebration, home to spells of delight, healing, and wonder. Your body is a sacred companion. She is the one entity that will never leave you during your journey as a human. She is always working on your behalf to restore, heal, and create the balance that allows you to fully participate in this life. She is kind enough to let us know when things aren't working, where we need help, relief, or assistance. That kind of loyalty deserves devotion, not diminishment. Shed the weight of expectations. Trim down the thoughts of too much and not enough. Dance like your hips move mountains. Put some magic of unabashed self-approval in your cauldron and witness how the steam of that self-esteem wafts out into the world, passing on permission for other women to feel the same about their unique shape. A witch understands that liking herself and her body, just as it is, in a toxic patriarchy, is an act of rebellion.
Yes.
Be a rebel.
Yes.
Okay. The second card is 11, the songstress. When was the last time you had a conversation with the moon, made music for the night sky, sang songs to the stars? When was the last time you showed up fully, just as you are, and offered your voice to the universe, which incidentally means one song, universe? So many of us let the idea of perfect get in the way of good. We refuse to make an offering of our art, music, service, ideas, mission, or soul craft because we feel we aren't yet polished enough. We aren't accomplished enough, not educated, experienced, or professional enough, or we're too much, too old, too late, too unoriginal, too much and not enough. Steal time and lives. Somewhere along the way, we let perfect in the door and it robbed us of our passions and our offerings. But a witch knows she is part of earth and part sky. There are moonbeams in her veins and bird song in her soul. She, like the moon, can show up with a single sliver of herself and still shine. She honors the birds that sing down the moon and sing up the sun, knowing that they don't sing because they're professional or trained. They sing because they have a song. Now is the time to let go of expectations and the demands of perfection and offer yourself up in this moment, regardless of how much or how little you have. Show up, sing, shine. The world needs you as you are.
Wow, those were great. Thank you, universe.
Thank you, universe. That hit me right in the heart bone. Oh my gosh.
Well, next week, we have our final episode for Cancer season, The High Priestess, which is our second to last episode of season 2. I can't believe we're about to start season 3. So until then, listeners, thank you. We love you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to this episode. The Radical Podcast is created and produced by Nicole and Christina.
Music by Van Horton. His Instagram is Van Horton Music. Stay in touch with us at linktr.ee/theradicalpodnc.